only remember bits and pieces of how it started. My father, the plane. But I still can't remember why we were flying over the mountains of Tibet when the trouble started. When my destiny changed. When my story, the legend of Mandrake the Magician, began.
Just brace yourself. Don't be afraid, son.
I'm not.
All dead except the boy. The boy has no recollection about the crash. He does not recall the plane trip, what he was doing on the plane, nor whom he was with. The past? He remembers nothing, Master. Not even his own name.
The mastery of the mystic arts. Everybody loves magic. You all do. That is, I think you do. Because if you don't, ladies and gentlemen, I am in a lot of trouble. Because, as you have seen tonight, I don't sing or dance. And I never could remember the punchline to a joke. But I do think that everyone has the inner desire to believe there is something more to life than what our knowledge is at present. And this desire is based upon a truth, because there is something more and something greater. What I try to do is to expand your consciousness, to show you that reality transcends perception, that there is something beyond what you perceive with your senses. Magic.
Sierra Tahoe. I need to speak to Mandrake. My name is Jennifer Lindsay. He'll know who I am.
Mandrake's evening show started at 8. He's on stage.
Then put me through to backstage to someone who can get to him.
I'll try. One moment, please.
You don't understand. Look, I'm calling from San Francisco. I have to get through to Mandrake.
Take it easy. You're making it sound like it's life or death.
It is!
I'm a doctor.
Arcadian.
Looks like a heart attack.
Hey, you! Hold it! I want to talk to you!
You okay?
Yeah, nothing bruised but my ego.
Did you get a license number?
No, I was too busy trying to avoid getting steel-belted radios imprinted across my forehead.
No vital signs.
The ambulance is on its way.
Too late, he's dead. Any identification? None.
I knew something weird was going to happen today.
How?
Because I had a weird dream last night, that's how.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was more than just a dream. It was more like an astral trip. My spirit guide was with me, and she showed me one of my past lives.
Cleopatra again?
Oh, that was last week. This time, I was a soldier with George Washington at Valley Forge. Hey, you haven't said a word in more than an hour. Still bothered by that man out there tonight?
I'm certain he was crying out to tell me something.
Maybe not. A prominent performer, public figure.
Flattery will get us nowhere.
I mean, he could have just been there, like the rest of the audience, to watch the show.
Yeah, but his face was familiar. I'm almost certain I've met him somewhere before.
But where?
Exactly.
Passing introduction?
Could be.
That goon that tried to use me as a launch pad throws suspicion on everything. I don't buy the heart attack bit.
I want to take a look at that body. Stacy, find out where the ambulance delivered the deceased.
Yes?
Gordon is here.
How about the action you had earlier? Nothing like a little excitement to punch up the act.
Alec, I was told there wouldn't be any more assignments until I finish my tour.
Well, we close here tonight. We've already canceled the rest of your tour.
Nice of you to consult me, old buddy.
The agency's got a problem, Mandrake. We, like you to handle it. How does this thing work, anyway?
Why me?
The director feels that this case might need, the magic touch.
I agreed to help the agency whenever they had no other way to go. But you know how I feel about the misuse of my magic.
This is serious, or I wouldn't be here.
How serious?
A company that we have a working agreement with is being sabotaged. Now, we don't know the reason why, but some of our top secret intelligence reports could be in jeopardy.
Which company?
A conglomerate with tentacles that stretch from amusement parks to nuclear reactors. The Arcadian Corporation.
Lothar, I need that film pack. The man who died here earlier tonight, Arcadian was the last thing he said to me. The audience right before the man had his seizure.
I've heard of photographic memories before, but you're outrageous.
There used to be a beard, but it's Dr. Malcolm Lindsay. He's working with his daughter at Stanford University in an experimental program. Extrasensory perception and parapsychology.
I've seen Lindsay before, and you're right. It could be him, or his double.
Why not Lindsay himself?
Because Dr. Malcolm Lindsay was killed in an automobile crash more than a year ago.
We need to see that body, and fast.
If you can find a body. I've checked all over town, and I can't find a record of any ambulance delivering the victim's body, either to the morgue or to a hospital.
Are you sure?
No, Alec. I made it up just for the fun of it because I love to watch that cute dimple on your chin twitch. Of course I'm sure.
No body, no way to identify who it was.
Oh, and the switchboard took 3 messages during the show. The last marked urgent, all from a Jennifer Lindsay. She said you'd remember her as Dr. Malcolm Lindsay's daughter.
Anything else?
Just that she's arriving here first thing in the morning. It's a charter flight.
No one is aware of the company's Arcadian's conglomerate controls. And for every weird promoter of intelligence operations behind the scene.
Tell me about the missing file.
Stolen from Arcadian's safe. It could be the key to the sabotage. It details Arcadian's agency connections, including the Domino Project.
The salvage of a sunken Russian submarine.
If the sub can be raised, it could be an intelligence coup.
A man shows up looking like Malcolm Lindsay and whispering Arcadian, while at the same time Alec is on his way to talk to you about the Arcadian caper.
No coincidence.
And was that Malcolm Lindsay or his double, or his ghost? And was death due to natural causes?
wasn't sure you'd get my message.
I did, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you for meeting me.
Has my father contacted you yet?
I'm not certain.
What do you mean?
Jennifer, it'd be easier on us both if you could explain a few things.
Sure, whatever I can.
Well, I was told that your father was killed in an automobile accident more than a year ago.
Well, the police report said that his car went out of control in a rainstorm and he died in the crash, with his body burned beyond identification.
Why did the police assume it was your father?
Well, it was his car. The driver matched his description.
What about dental charts?
Yeah. Now, the coroner's office went through my father's charts, and according to them, there was no doubt about it. It was my father. Except, I got a phone call a couple of days ago. At first, I thought it was some sort of a bad joke. But it was my father. I'm positive.
How?
He said things only my father could know. And he said that he was in danger, and that he didn't want to endanger me, and he didn't have time to explain.
But he wanted you to contact me.
And said he'd be doing the same. He's dead, and then he's alive, and now he's dead again. What is happening?
Jennifer, you came to ask for my help. Now, while we're looking for your father, you can help us. We're certain that he is linked in some way to the sabotage and missing file we told you about.
I do know he was working on a grant from a foundation which was funded by Raymond Arcadian.
What kind of work?
Experimentation into everything from psychic healing to the use of hallucinogens to alter perception.
We're being tailed, and I don't think he wants your autograph.
An old African proverb.
One about the warrior and the lion.
I was thinking of the one which, roughly translated, suggests we're between a rock and a hard place.
You sure you're all right?
Oh, fine. Hardly a scratch. Who are those men?
One of them's the one who ran from the showroom and tried to use Lothar as an exit ramp. Anything?
Well, I've seen clams who were more talkative. They're like a couple of robots.
What do we do now?
Take you back to San Francisco.
But my father.
Alec can handle the police here. There's nothing more we can do.
Why go to San Francisco?
To see Raymond Arcadian.
Your father was a tribal king?
Wambisi tribe. Legendary warriors. My father was also a sorcerer.
Black magic?
In more ways than one.
And that's how you met Mandrake, in Africa through magic.
No, actually, it was at a singles bar in Anaheim. And that's the truth Wambisi honored.
You know, I've seen you do things like you did today. Things that boggle the mind. And I've heard all the mystical mumbo-jumbo you dish out to people when they ask you about your magic. But someday, Mandrake, I'm gonna find out how you do it.
You know, Alec, if I told you how I did it, then it wouldn't be magic.
Oh, hey, there's no doubt in my mind that you have some force that allows you to do what you do. But real magic?
Alec, let me recommend the advice given by Buddha to his disciples. Believe nothing which is unreasonable, but reject nothing is unreasonable without proper examination.
Ah, but your conjuring defies logical examination.
But magic is a force. It's merely a force. It doesn't differentiate between good and evil. It's the magician who knows and uses that force for constructive or destructive purposes. Now, what I care about, and what you should care about, is the end result of my work.
And stop asking myself if any man can possess powers that transcend those admitted by modern science.
Alec, there is real magic. It's all around us, all the time.
You think I could get that laminated from my wallet?
You wouldn't work so hard at being a disbeliever. You might just learn something.
Touché.
Now, where do I find Arcadian?
Under different circumstances, you might enjoy it. The Miss Golden West Beauty Contest. Arcadian sponsoring it at his amphitheater.
Thanks.
Better part of a day in the library last week researching you.
A waste of time, right?
Well, let's say inconclusive. Haven't you ever given an interview to anyone?
What, and spoil the mystery?
Uh-huh. Well, my father once told me you were from Tibet, the high mountain regions.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you wind up there?
My health. I went for the waters.
What waters? It's all mountains and deserts.
I was misinformed.
You know, between you and Lothar, I can't get a straight answer. I do know when I was working in the laboratory with my father, he would have given anything to corral you for a few hours. He said we'd have a field day testing you.
What the eye thinks it sees is not always the truth of what's really happening.
Don't believe everything you see?
There's a better rule. Don't believe everything you think.
What the eye perceives is not always the truth, small one. Some things you think you see are merely illusions of the mind. And some illusions are true magic. Magic handed down through the ages. You see, during the 12th century, men who were called wizards carried on the secrets of ancient Egypt and the magic of ancient China. But when the hordes of Genghis Khan swept the Western world, the wizards and their lore were destroyed. The few who managed to escape came here.
To Tibet?
To this valley, wherein the lore of the wizards has been preserved. You see, this temple is the temple of the learning of magic.
And you, are you a wizard?
Yes, I am the ancient one, Veron, the last of the wizards.
Is there such thing as real magic?
You have only to look around you, see the world, the animals, the flowers, and then ask yourself whether they could have come into existence by any other power than that of magic. You see, my son, every living being is an organism in which the magic power of the spirit acts. Now, if a man could attain the knowledge of how to control this power, he is indeed a magician.
Can anyone learn such a power?
Men of the Western world know very little of their inner nature. They know nothing of the eternal power of magic. However, to a true believer, yes, it can be taught.
Could I be taught?
Possibly.
Will you teach me?
The question is, can you become a true believer?
I can. I know I can.
Accommodations. Make certain that everyone is present, accounted for, and happy. Get rid of those suits. This is not the Miss America contest, French. I want to see more skin. Yes, sir. 12 yellow roses to each of the girls. Their mothers.
Nature usually allows for that, Mr. Arcadian.
24 to the mothers.
Arcadian.
Ah, Mandrake. Alec Gordon told me you'd be arriving. I saw your show in Las Vegas last year. It was incredible. Of course, I've always been fascinated with magic.
We all are, I'm happy to say.
No, everyone asks you. But could you do something for me?
You're right. Everyone does ask.
What do you tell them?
First, I usually return their watches. And then their wallets. That goes right in there, I believe.
Oh, you haven't been anywhere near me.
Ah, but I have. We shook hands, didn't we?
That's fantastic.
And you might want your belt back before your pants fall down around your ankles.
I love it.
This is my associate Lothar and Jennifer Lindsay.
My father and I used to be employees of yours, Mr. Arcadian. Indirectly, that is.
How indirectly would that be?
My father's Dr. Malcolm Lindsay.
Stanford University grad.
That's right.
Yes.
Can we talk, Mr. Arcadian?
Just 1 minute. Phone for you, Mr. French.
Hello?
Hi, J.B. French.
This is French.
I have a message for you, French. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the party.
My explorer ship could be the next to be sabotaged. She departs Honolulu tomorrow morning.
Is there a cover story for the recovery mission?
Yes, deep sea mining of ocean resources.
Is that detailed in the report?
That and everything but where my birthmark is.
2 of your plants have already been bombed.
Both involved in electronics work for NASA.
Could the motive be blackmail?
It's possible. If so, I'll gladly write a personal check for whatever amount in order to protect the good old U.S. of A., the good old boys at the agency.
Very patriotic.
Oh, I'm a businessman, Miss Lindsay, not a patriot. The intelligence community pays cash for my acumen, and I deliver discreetly. But as a businessman, I would rather not have my government contracts broadcast to the world.
You prefer this sort of publicity?
Sometimes it does have its fringe benefits. The file's existence.
An inside job.
Well, it's a definite possibility. Nothing else was taken.
The thief knew how to bypass your security system.
Yes, and where my private safe was.
What about revenge?
Do you mean, do I have any enemies who would take particular glee in destroying me?
I know you do. I'm just wondering who and how many.
Start with 3 ex-wives, each of whom would gladly place a bullet between my eyes if they thought they possessed a sliver of a hope to inherit the empire. From there, you may as well whip out the telephone directory and commence with A.
What about Malcolm Lindsay?
Is he dead or alive?
Does it matter?
If he's dead, I don't think he's in a position to hold a grudge.
And if he's alive?
If he's alive, he might not be too happy with me.
His reason?
His daughter obviously isn't aware of it. My foundation cut off funding to her father at least 6 months before his supposed departure from this vale of tears. I don't know who was supporting his research, but it wasn't me.
Tahoe to tell me something important. He notified Jennifer to meet him there.
And all that after he'd supposedly been dead for some time.
More than a year.
Where is he now?
He was taken away by ambulance after his apparent heart attack.
What does all that have to do with me?
He did have a chance to whisper one word to me after his attack. Arcadian.
What's that supposed to mean?
You tell me, Mr. Arcadian.
Sea duty's not as bad as it sounds. Lots of travel.
A girl in every port.
Are you kidding? I'm never in one place long enough to get a phone number. They promised me I'd see the world when I signed on, and baby, they weren't jiving.
Hey, but it's not the real Navy, right? So how's the government involved?
Explorer ship, deep sea diving. Ship is owned by Arcadian Industries, but we work on government contracts. I was in the real Navy, though, for a while, if that turns you on.
Oh, yeah?
Want to see my tattoo?
Cindy, is there Walter Kevin here?
Yeah, you're looking at him.
You have a long distance phone call.
Are you kidding?
No, the phone is over there.
No one knows I'm in Honolulu, let alone here.
Well, maybe it's the Navy winding you back.
Yeah. Can't make it without me. Hello?
Walter Kevin?
Yeah, you got it. How'd you know I was here?
I have a message for you. Listen carefully. I can only say this once.
Okay, shoot.
Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the party.
Hey, where are you going?
Abrasions and jangled nerves, but a miracle no one was more seriously hurt.
Or killed.
A few minutes earlier, and it could have been all of us. How's Arcadian taking it?
Like nothing happened. He's already asking how fast the stage can be repaired.
Mr. Arcadian! It's Mr. French. He's dead.
French be doing under the stage?
Who knows? Probably checking out something for the show. I feel sick about it.
There's a telephone call for you. They said it was urgent.
Yes.
Raymond Arcadian?
This is Arcadian.
How did you enjoy your little blast?
Who is this?
Now, I could have waited until the audience had arrived and the television cameras were turned on, but I just wanted you to get a small taste of it.
You're some kind of maniac.
What do you think?
Who are you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't want to tell you that. Spoil all the fun.
What do you want?
Well, you'll find out about that soon enough.
In the meantime, you can forget about your top secret project.
What?
You can forget about raising the Russian submarine for the agency.
Your explorer ship is never going to make it.
It's not even going to leave Honolulu. What time is it in Honolulu?
Alec Arcadian couldn't identify the voice. The caller was using a filter. What's the ship's damage report?
Not good. Destruction beyond immediate repair. The mission to raise the sub had to be scrapped. What's your ETA, Honolulu?
9 a.m. Any suspects?
None. But the Honolulu police know you're coming, and Stacy will be meeting you there.
Stacy, how'd you make out in Lake Tahoe?
The questioning of the two men who tried to run you over turned up zip. Neither one talked, neither one carried an ID.
Fingerprints?
Well, Alec is running a make, but for all we know, those guys are from another planet. They're like zombies.
What about my father?
No registered ambulance picked up a body from the showroom.
The doctor?
Blank's there, too. No doctor could be found to fit the description of the one who examined the victim.
Blanks, nowhere. None of this is helping to find out what happened to my father.
All we have now is the trail of the missing file. If your father's linked to it, we'll find out what happened.
And if there is no link?
One way or another, we'll find the answers.
Mandrake, this is Sergeant Ho, Honolulu PD.
Sergeant?
My pleasure, Mandrake. This way, please.
Security personnel saw a seaman in the area where the blast was detonated.
The remains of a body have been identified as a Walter Kevin. We're certain that he triggered the explosive.
Motive?
Seems to be no reason for him wanting to blow up his own ship.
His service record was spotless, and apparently he was a good-natured guy. Moderate drinker.
If he did set the explosives, why did he stick around long enough to get himself blown away?
I tell you, that does cry out for an answer. That's the waitress Kevin was talking to before he went to his ship. She's having trouble putting it together.
If I could, I'd like to speak to her alone.
Her name's Cindy Kono.
Walter's ship was due to get underway in the morning. Did he tell you what his duty was?
Well, just that it had something to do with deep-sea diving. That's what we were talking about when the phone call came.
Long distance, according to what you told the police.
Yes.
And Kevin said nothing to you when he returned from taking the call?
He came back with this weird look on his face, and then just left.
Cindy, I told you when we began that I may want to use a form of hypnosis on you. Now I need your permission and cooperation.
It'll help.
Are you relaxed?
Yes.
Now I want you to close your eyes and to picture in your mind exactly what occurred with Walter Kevin prior to and following the phone call. Play it back in your mind like a television replay. Do you understand, Cindy?
Yes, like a TV replay.
When I count to 10, you'll go to sleep. Deep asleep. With those scenes playing back in your mind. Right, Cindy?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're relaxed now, Cindy. Open your eyes. Walter Kevin is as clear in your mind as Channel 4. Can you see Walter?
Yes. I'm waiting for a drink order. We're talking, and I like him.
Then the phone call.
Long distance. He'll be right back.
Walter's coming back now, Cindy.
Yes. With that strange look in his eyes.
I'm certain a long-distance phone call triggered Walter's assault on the ship. He was in some kind of trance.
Which means?
Hypnosis, induced mind control. And that's where your father could fit in.
How?
You said he was experimenting on hallucinogens to alter perception.
Yes.
Different words, same tune. You control a man's mind, you control everything.
I checked with Alec. It hasn't ended with the Explorer ship. Explosives raised a chemical plant near Houston owned by Arcadian. Not only that, but a nuclear reactor under construction in Illinois was sabotaged.
Stocked with fuel?
Fortunately not, otherwise half of the state would have been blown to Canada.
What's the M.O.?
Plastic explosives. Body found at each scene suspected to be that of the saboteur.
It's the same setup as with Walter Kevin.
But why would each saboteur go up with the explosions he detonated?
They were probably just soldiers chosen for their anonymity.
Make that sailor. The computer coughed up a couple of naval identities on the two that tried to level us in Tahoe. Both unemployed San Francisco residents, neither had a rap sheet.
Sounds like we have a madman who's out there calling the shots.
A madman with an army of mind control robots.
It's good to be home. How about some breakfast? I've received past accolades for my eggs Benedict.
You don't look like you've got enough energy to even crack an egg.
I may look like yesterday's laundry, but a hot shower will give me instant recuperative powers.
Well, I'd like to join you if I had the time.
Coffee and toast, anyhow?
You are persistent.
Well, it's just that everything's going so fast. When there's time, I'd like to know you better.
Likewise.
I was spying on you when you were questioning that girl in Honolulu, and you knew it, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you call what you were doing?
Telepathic projection.
It was incredible.
Energy from the brain forms thoughts. You know, like sound waves, and the thoughts are converted into electrical impulses and finally into pictures. I'm merely the conduit.
Did I really see what I thought I saw?
Well, now, you can't ask a magician to reveal all of his secrets.
Is there a difference between your stage magic and the feat you perform off stage?
Some is illusion and some is real magic.
Do you use mass hypnosis to make audiences believe that they're seeing something that they actually aren't?
That was the only way I could think of to shut you up. I think you ought to get some rest.
Without hearing from my father, I doubt I can.
I want Stacy to stay with you here for a while until this mess is over with.
A babysitter?
Companion.
You consider my father a suspect if he's alive, don't you?
Well, if he's alive, Arcadian doesn't eliminate him as an enemy.
That's not what I asked.
I can't eliminate anyone, Jennifer, until it's all over with.
Some psychologists suggest that riding a roller coaster is a form of rebellion against mother love and all its safety. A final plunge of freedom from childhood dependency. Others theorize latent death wishes or the need to exorcise fears. Well, be that as it may, this is going to be the new world's record holder. Longest, highest, and fastest.
She's a real beauty. I can appreciate your interest.
Oh, it goes beyond interest. I bought 4 amusement parks just to collect the coasters. The cassette arrived this morning, special delivery. The voice is the same as the one on the phone, filtered.
I think by now I've proved how vulnerable you are, Arcadian. To your previous question as to what I want, $10 million is the price. You have 48 hours to gather the cash, or everything that's gone before will seem like child's play. I'll be back in touch to let you know further details. Oh, by the way, if you have any reservations about my being able to penetrate your new security precautions, I'll give you another demonstration today.
48 hours to gather $10 billion? He can't be serious.
I think he is.
Well, then the joke is on him. Or perhaps on all of us.
In what way?
No one knows. No one in my employ. Not even, bless her, my mother, who always hated roller coasters.
Knows what?
Mandrake, I am supposed to be a billionaire, according to the press. But I could barely raise 1 million in 48 hours, let alone 10. My fortune is not in liquid assets. My so-called empire is based largely on inventive bookkeeping, paper. Trying to liquidate any of it to raise that kind of cash would be impossible.
What happened to that speech of yours about being happy to write a personal check to save the good old U.S. of A?
Well, I wasn't thinking in terms of $10 billion.
Terrific. Doesn't leave us much choice, does it?
Unless you'd care to proffer a loan. I'd say this maniac has to be stopped. and within 48 hours.
You're Secretary French. Did he serve in the Navy?
I believe he did. Why?
Having Alec run a cross-check on French with the names of the other saboteurs.
You think French set off the explosion at the amphitheater?
It fits the pattern. Each of the other men had Navy backgrounds.
There's bound to be another demonstration, as that lunatic called it.
Today, if we choose to believe him.
There are still plenty of prime targets listed in that stolen file. An electronics plant, another nuclear power plant, only this one's fueled, and a potential nightmare if our demented friend decided to pull the trigger on it.
And he's on a high right now. He feels unstoppable, superior. I think he might want to arrange something a little more visual for you.
Like?
Arcadian, I don't think he gives a damn if it's an agency target or not. It's your cash he wants, not your connections. And the temptation here might be too much for him to pass up.
The roller coaster?
Whoever it is, he knows you. He knows you're here, not at your electronics plant, a nuclear reactor. And the inauguration of your pet project is made to order for him. What's he doing up there?
The final maintenance check, I assume.
How long before you cut the ribbon for the first ride?
About 20 minutes.
How do I get up there? What are you doing up here? I know you're committed to complete a mission, but I can't believe you're responsible for the direction behind it. Your friends, your Navy buddies, they're all dead. They were programmed to go up with the explosives they planted. Can you understand me? I can't believe you want to die. I know I don't. So why don't you just back off and let me get to the plastic before we're both blown away? Not gonna make this easy, are you?
can interrogate him? I keep a small office. It's over by the Ferris wheel. Take him over there. Can we start the ride now?
Well, I certainly appreciate you waiting till I got back down.
It's a captive audience, Mandrake. I wouldn't want to lose them now. If this madness continues, I may need those admissions to pay the rent.
Alec's computer says you were right about the naval connection. French and the others served together at the same base a half a dozen years back.
And Stacy?
Headed to Jennifer's to be her shadow.
Passive, but his mind is fighting it all the way.
Like the others?
Hypnotically preconditioned to refuse to answer questions.
What about reprogramming?
I'm going to try, but there may be too many obstructing vibrations. Let's go back further, back to where it all began. You remember. Just picture it in your mind. Picture it as clearly as you can.
Something's coming through. Some kind of a lodge.
Looks like it.
Snow-capped mountains. Water. Lake.
Maybe a resort.
You think he's keyed into what we want?
That's significant.
But is it the right key?
It's too early to tell. I'm losing him. Think. Think. Keep trying. Just focus it clearly in your mind. That's all she wrote.
Can't you get him back?
There's too much resistance. We're lucky to get as far as we did.
What are we supposed to do now? Call our local travel agent?
I'm going to take a shot at reprogramming him back to the past.
From there?
We're not sure it's a resort. I'm not sure I can get him locked back into it, but it's all we have.
Lothar? Trouble. Jennifer's been kidnapped. Yeah, I walked right into it and got slugged when I tried to break it up. Yeah, 2 men. And I bet a new Ferrari they were charter members of your robot club.
Phone the police and give them whatever you can, then call me back.
Right. Okay, look, I'm sorry I blew it. Okay, I'll get back to you.
He still could be dangerous, but I'm going to take my chances and release him.
The rules may have changed.
How?
Jennifer's been kidnapped. Happened just as Stacy was getting there. She was a little shook up, but okay.
Who did it?
A couple of dudes who came on like robots.
Does Stacy have any idea of why they took Jennifer?
Well, I didn't have time to ask. Maybe your button-pushing madman wants insurance on his $10 million.
You're going to have to handle it, Lothar. When I release him, I can't let him out of my sight.
Burns. Very fine. Gently, gently now. Don't want to damage the cargo here.
You must study the canons with an unquenchable thirst. You must meditate religiously. When your life has reached a deeper meaning, when you have found your inner self, then you will have the wisdom and serenity to be declared a master of the mystic arts. And then, my son, you will wear the amulet of the wizards and inherit the amulet's spiritual powers. My son, you are now Mandrake the Magician. You must never be without this amulet. If you are not wearing it, all that I have taught you, all your psychic energy, will be in vain. Without the amulet, there is no magic.
Into me. I feel like a pincushion.
You've been given some experimental drugs of a mild hypnotic nature to improve communication.
I wasn't aware I was having a problem.
Let's just call it anticipation.
Where am I? Last thing I remember, I was taking a drive in the country to try to find a place to do some fishing this weekend.
Trout fishing is excellent this time of year. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do any. You're in a private institution for the treatment of mental and nervous disorders.
Really? Sounds like fun.
Drop the charade. You followed one of our men here.
Cool as can be. On and off stage, you always were, Mandrake.
Romero. I never did buy that story that you were sold out to the Russians.
No, my blood's too thin for those long Moscow winters.
I'm sure the KGB would have kept you supplied in firewood.
You don't have to choose sides to traffic intelligence. Besides, why should I defect when I can cash in on the same information by keeping a low profile and selling to the highest bidder?
That's right. You were the agency's contact with Raymond Arcadian before you were replaced. That's how you knew where the file was and where it was kept.
And you can imagine my disappointment when I found out that file was not going to be the gold mine I thought it was. I mean, the KGB was not even interested in Arcadian's plan to raise the Russian sub because everything on it, from code books to missiles, was outdated.
So extortion was your only shot at the jackpot?
Arcadian is paying the $10 million.
He doesn't have it to give.
You're lying. Or he lied to you.
He can't raise that kind of money even if he wanted to.
He can raise it. He can raise it, and he will. When he finds out what our next target is.
The nuclear reactor.
Indeed.
And you already have a man planted there.
I'm impressed. What else does your mystical ESP tell you?
That you staged Malcolm Lindsay's death, then abducted him to make use of his knowledge in drug-induced hypnosis, and to make use of a select group of Navy men that were part of a volunteer program.
Lindsay told you that in Lake Tahoe, didn't he?
He didn't have to. I remember the hypnosis program 6 years ago.
Would have been a lot easier on everyone if Lindsay had agreed to an extension of those experiments.
Maybe he didn't like the idea of using those young men as guinea pigs.
The fact is, those men were already primed for further experimentation. Each man under hypnosis had been instructed in how to use explosives. We merely provided a target for practice.
And a telephone trigger phrase to set them off.
The telephone bills have been steep lately, haven't they? Now, all this is really preliminary, just a trial run compared to what we have down the road. That $10 million we get now will seem like petty cash in the future. Can you imagine what the KGB would pay if we could guarantee delivery of a mind-controlled senator?
Or even a president, specifically programmed.
Lindsay won't cooperate with anything even close to that. You're holding him here.
Temporarily. You see, we've convinced Dr. Lindsay to help us take his mind process one step further. We've computerized it. What Malcolm Lindsay did for us in the past, we can do in the future by machine.
Time to make contact with Arcadian.
Relax. Enjoy. You'll live longer.
Why play around with him? He's just in the way.
If they follow Burns, someone might know he's here.
Well, how long do we wait?
Until tomorrow. Besides, I've always been a magic buff. Maybe he'll show us some tricks.
sure to see you.
Dr. Lindsay.
Mandrake, they have you too?
Well, temporarily. Jennifer was led to believe that you died in a car crash. Are you all right?
Like a cat, I have 9 lives. And they used a patient here at the hospital who died before my so-called accident. The crash was rigged.
And the x-rays and dental records to confirm your death switched. What happened in Lake Tahoe?
Well, I managed to escape. Came to look for you, to ask for your help. And then they caught me. Before I could tell you what they planned to do to Arcadian.
Arcadian thought you might be behind it.
I have no love for him. Wouldn't care what happened to him personally. What I wanted to do was stop the destruction.
How did they pull off your second death?
He injected me with a Carrari solution at your show, which caused muscle and heart relaxation to simulate death.
And then they revived you in their own ambulance.
Jennifer, is she all right?
She was abducted by the same people we're trying to stop.
Yes, I know all that.
How?
Well, Jennifer's here. I talked with her. She's being held on another floor. I just thought you might have seen her.
I haven't, but I'll find out where she is.
They threatened to kill her unless I help them computerize my formula. Let's go. Move.
All right. Okay, but the minute you hear any word, I want to know.
Anything?
Not word one.
What about the All Points Bulletin?
It's gone out to both local and state police, but so far there's not a clue as to where Jennifer or Mandrake could be.
Alec, there's got to be something.
I wish there were, Stacy. Tell Lothar I've done everything I could. But from here on, I'm afraid it may be up to Mandrake.
Is a straitjacket really necessary?
You've already been a bad boy. We want to avoid any more unpleasantness. Get the wheelchair.
We're taking a trip.
A short one. No need to pack a toothbrush.
Oh, Mandrake. Glad you could come. Oh, I wouldn't have missed it. I was afraid you might be tied up.
Not at all. I'm very big on fireside chats.
How are you in reunions? We may not have worked for the same goals, but after all, we do belong to the same fraternal order.
Just don't ask me to give you the secret handshake.
The clandestine world we work in. Fascinating, don't you think? Espionage, intelligence, magic. Little by little, the mirror house of illusion gives way. The mirage is dissipated until finally we discover that behind the mirrors are more mirrors. I was never sure. How did our boys in Washington originally recruit you?
An unexpected booking. I had a lousy agent.
They got me right out of college. Still wet behind the ears, but ready to go anywhere or do anything for my country, right or wrong. While I was a case officer at the Home Office, I had occasion to look up your file. Not to be found. No indication anywhere that you were working for the agency, yet I know you are. How mysterious.
That's right, you are keen on files, aren't you?
That and computers. I truly am happy that you were able to come here. You're going to be a big part, of an historic occasion. The unveiling of our new mind programming computer. It weaves its own very special kind of magic. Of course, to launch our computer process, we need experimental subjects, live bodies.
If you need a brain to tinker with, let her go and use me.
Mandrake?
Oh, we do plan to use you, Mandrake. First Miss Lindsay, and then you. Start the computers, Nolan.
Ready.
Now, science has never fully explained the awesome power of the mind. A fact which I need not sell you on, right? I mean, the conscious mind is actually quite negative. The subconscious, on the other hand, is a powerhouse. Now here, we have a mix of psychoactive drugs and electronic feedback to induce the results that we desire.
I called Arcadian. He's still insisting he can't raise the money.
Did you give him the delivery instructions? Then, in fact, he will deliver. Unless he wants to see his reactor and the city it's in go up in smoke.
Ready.
Beat it to her.
Do you want me to limit the initial charge?
No need. Just go for success on the first shot.
Right.
Get those electrodes off of her. Untie her. Now! Take the amulet off. Gently. Toss it to me.
Rather touchy about your jewelry, aren't you?
Let's just say that it's a keepsake. Are you ready?
Let's go. My father.
I know which room he's in. Come on. The boat. That reactor. If they've set another robot in motion, normal security won't be enough. time, Mandrake.
We may have trouble already. I'll explain when I get there.
Lothar and Stacy are with me. It shouldn't take us more than 20 minutes to reach the power plant.
Push on it, Alec. I'll be coming in right behind you.
Roger.
Were wrapped up by a roadblock when they tried to do the hustle across the state line.
What about the plan, Alec? We've tripled security and double-checked every possibility. There's no way a saboteur is going to get in the plant without our knowledge.
Our problem could be a little more delicate than that. Their man's already inside. What kind of hardware do they have in there?
Liquid metal fast-breeder reactor.
Power for an entire city.
Plant manager says the reactor vessel's loaded with uranium and plutonium.
Double dynamite.
I'm not at all sure what I'm doing cruising through here when this whole place could go up in ashes any second.
Plug into your spirit guide if she's around. We may be joining her.
We spotted him. Up near the reactor vents. Try to get to him, but he's armed. Won't let anybody near. Can't shoot because of the explosives.
How the hell did you let him get in here to begin with?
It's Knox. He works here since the plant opened 6 years ago.
Probably put in some Navy time before that.
How'd you know that?
Keep everyone here. You take care of him.
Everything in hand?
A piece of cake. Cuff him.
I would have gotten here sooner to help you, but I'm not as fast as I used to be.
I doubt if anyone could be faster.
Well, I inherited my agility and quickness from my uncle Adamu. Superb athlete, first of our tribe to compete in the Olympic Games.
Which event?
Javelin catch.
Catch?
Uncle Adamu was agile and quick, but not very bright.
About him now than I did to start with.
That's his style. Mystery and magic.
But where does the mystery end and the man begin?
If you find out, would you let me know?
Mind if I join you?
I have no objection if my father doesn't.
I'm in too good a mood to carry old grudges. Sit. Good. I would feel a bit embarrassed where I'd be turned away in my own showroom.
Your showroom?
One tires of roller coasters, Mr. Gordon. Hotels are also a fascination of mine. I bought this one this morning.
But I thought...
You thought I didn't have liquid assets? Well, I wouldn't have if I'd given them all away, now would I?
Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for being such a wonderful audience. Please remember when you watch me that I try my best to demonstrate to you that there is something beyond what you perceive with your senses. Something more and something greater. Good night.